April 20, 2010. The Deepwater Horizon explodes. On the BP offshore platform, 11 men die. And Gulf Coast shores are poisoned with BP oil. 6 months and 7,000 miles away from the Gulf of Mexico, my crew and I, investigating the blowout, are under arrest, seized by the chief of the security ministry of an oil dictatorship in Central Asia. Was the Deepwater Horizon explosion just a tragic accident or something far worse? A crime and a cover-up. This is the untold story of the Deepwater Horizon, long concealed from the American public. A story of bribery and collusion between BP, Chevron, Exxon, and the U.S. State Department. Within days of the explosion, I received a message from a terrified witness who said it was too dangerous to use official mail. The witness, extraordinarily, was on a ship floating in the middle of the Caspian Sea. When I got to a secure phone line, what I heard was a shocking accusation. The Deepwater Horizon was not BP's first big offshore platform blowout.
BP very nearly had a blowout on the Central Azeri platform in the Caspian Sea last year. The platform was engulfed in a gas cloud following the implementation of the nitrogen cement job, and all 140 plus personnel had to take the lifeboats and abandon the platform. It was mayhem.
A money-saving, quick-dry cement had failed. BP concealed this information and continued to use the cement, which failed again on the Deepwater Horizon, incinerating 11 men. To get the evidence, our crew flew from New York to Central Asia, then to Baku, Azerbaijan, to the shoreline of the Caspian Sea's giant oil fields. Something happened at BP's big offshore platform, and we want to find out what it is. BP has given several different versions of the reason the Caspian Sea platform was abandoned, always blaming Mother Nature, leaks in the seafloor, but never a blowout. First, BP said in a press release that the gas was discovered in the area of their rig. Then the second time, they said that the gas was coming up around their rig. Then the third time, we discovered a document where they said the gas was coming up from below their rig. A leak or a blowout? In the back alleyways of the ancient Silk Road city of Baku, we searched for the witnesses to the 2008 blowout. Then, among the polluted ruins of the oil fields, we found 2 rig workers who said that yes, the BP oil rig cement blew out and they jumped for their lives from the gas-filled oil rig. But when we set off across the roadless desert to meet our witnesses, we were arrested. We caught it on our hidden cameras. Well, it looks like we're going to be here a while. They've called the foreign ministry and they've asked us to turn over all our film. I don't think we're going to do that. Why? The secret police chief told us proudly in Azeri, BP drives this country. Our crew was released, but our witnesses were disappeared. We were expelled and headed back to the USA empty-handed. But then, another whistleblower released the evidence we needed.
Bradley Manning.
Bradley Manning.
Bradley Manning.
Bradley Manning released 700,000 cables.
I said on that show that we ought to get a hit squad together and shoot this guy. You know how much heat
Deep inside Manning's files, we found the smoking gun, a confidential State Department cable, the record of a secret meeting between the U.S. Embassy and the president of BP Azerbaijan. The oil company admitted that, yes, there was a disastrous blowout. He confessed it was the largest such evacuation in BP history. But the State Department, headed by a former Chevron executive, Condoleezza Rice, told Chevron and Exxon about the blowout. What BP said in secrecy was quite different from what BP, Chevron, and Exxon's chiefs told the United States Congress. Here is BP Vice President David Rainey testifying before Congress just 6 months prior to the Deepwater Horizon explosion.
I think we also need to remember that OCS development has been going on for the last 50 years, and it has been going on in a way that is both safe and protective of the environment.
Safe? All three oil company chiefs left out of their testimony any mention of the blowout that occurred just 1 year earlier in the Caspian Sea. Was the concealment illegal? Perjury? We sought the opinion of the dean of the Pace University Environmental Law School, Professor Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
The entire government is basing its policy in the Gulf of Mexico on the assurances of this company that this can be done safely, and it's never failed before. This is what they were telling everybody. And yet the whole time they knew that this was a process that had failed disastrously in the Caspian Sea. And we have laws that make it illegal to hide this kind of stuff.
When we confronted BP about the cover-up, they admitted they never told U.S. regulators about the blowout, but they did confess to the Azerbaijan government. My question was, why did the government of Azerbaijan work so hard to conceal BP's disaster? What exactly did the president of Azerbaijan owe British Petroleum? To get the answer, we searched for the man in this old photo holding an AK-47 in front of BP's headquarters in Baku. We found him in London. We met our insider at the Oriental Club, an exclusive watering hole for former diplomats and spooks. Les Abrahams worked simultaneously for BP and MI6, British intelligence. The former agent told me that the Azeri regime was installed by a coup d'etat with guns and espionage intelligence supplied by MI6, BP, and the CIA.
BP were involved. There was arms for oil tool deals. There was a CIA involvement through a company called Mega Oil that was shipping arms under the cover of oil tools into the Karabakh.
And cash, lots of it. Abrahams told me bluntly that he himself carried the bribes to the Azerbaijan government.
Did you feel that you were paying bribes for BP and the British government?
Absolutely, yes. I was smoothing the way.
But the biggest check was handed over personally by Lord Brown of Mattingley, BP's chairman.
Tell me how exactly he did this. I mean, hey, here's a check for $30 million. Just stick it in your pocket. I'm going to the loo.
It was in a brown briefcase. He took me aside, opened the briefcase. All that was in the briefcase was a check.
4 months after MI6 and the CIA put them in power, the ruling family gave BP a no-bid lease for the Caspian oil. BP pointedly did not deny our evidence of payoffs. BP's takeover of the Caspian fields has left the nation impoverished, with blown-out oil platforms and beaches covered with cancerous oil sludge, unlike the American Gulf Coast.
I'm glad to report all beaches and waters are open for everyone to enjoy. I'm still here, and so is BP.
We flew down to the Gulf Coast to go swimming on these clean beaches. Then changed our minds. I walked the beach with Professor of Biology and pollution expert Rick Steiner.
Sorry, I had to have that.
This oil will be here for decades.
There will be an amount of oil in the environment here for years to come. I mean, we've seen sites in the Niger Delta in Nigeria, where it's very hot, lots of solar radiation, lots of humidity, but even after 40 years, you can still see oil that asphalted over on the surface. And
After 40 years?
yeah,
in
40.
hot weather like this. Yeah, okay, we got a bunch of guys in white plastic and blue plastic and some boats and rakes. It looks like a BP beach party. How many hours a day do you work here? 12?
I lost everything due to this oil spill. And they don't want to pay me, help me get no car. I don't know what to do. I give up. That's why what brought me out here.
BP cleanup worker Raphael Gill.
Got nothing but bread and bologna in the refrigerator.
Just bread and bologna?
That's it. A couple hot dogs.
And what about your kids?
Well, I don't eat sometimes, let them eat. It's all right.
They've done about 500 yards in a month, and they only have the rest of this beach and another 600 miles to go. And then they got to do it again.
From the scene of the unending cleanup and unending cover-up, this is Greg Palast reporting.